Welcome to We've Got a Country to Save, brought to you by my friends at InvestYRefy.com. Invest in America like I do. And by Freedom Chat. Freedom Chat has true end-to-end encryption, no storage of messages on the server, and no commercial use of user data. That way you can speak freely and message privately. Download the app today and subscribe to my Freedom Chat channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. We also thank Epoch Times, Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, Century H2O, Blue Line Moving, and El Cholo. Make sure to follow or subscribe to my channel on whatever platform you are using, whether X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, and be sure to patronize our sponsors. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. And if you don't patronize our sponsors, well...
I'm not gonna fight a girl, so just stop.
It shouldn't matter. If you thought of me as a person instead of a woman, you would hit me and not feel bad about it.
Okay.
Bring it! I'm ready.
It's on now, dog. Girl fight. Oh my God.
Ow, is there blood in my head?
We know where you live.
Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart. If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory. Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America and shall continue to place second-class status on black people.
Mr. Black Lives Matter of New York said that after the manslaughter charge was dropped because the jury deadlocked. This is Mr. Black Lives Matter after the jury found Daniel Penny not guilty of anything.
Just like everybody else has vigilantes, we need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired.
Tired.
I know you're looking for us to be like, oh, go and march, go and march. No. This weekend, I want you to hold a community event everywhere from the Bronx to Houston to Seattle to Florida. Black people, whole community event and talk about what you need.
And this is Jordan Neely's father.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system is rigged. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Let's do something about it. Too often, we have Eric Garner's mother here. There's too often this is happening where we're left alone in this society. We got to stop that. We have to change how we impact each other. Jordan came on that subway car. The first thing he asked for was food, and he was killed. And the person who killed him was not held responsible. We cannot allow this to keep happening.
And this is the sister of the aforementioned founder of Black Lives Matter, his sister, a co-founder of Black Lives Matter, New York.
That's known typically as
I was there during jury selection.
Whether it was
black women were shut out for having unconventional hair, but there were 9 white jurors.
Sorry, is that what they said? They said it was for unconventional hair, or you're just presuming that?
It was unconventional hair.
A juror was dismissed for having unconventional hair.
Unconventional hair.
That's made up.
No, it's not.
Who said?
No, it's not.
Which lawyer said that?
The defense attorney.
Which one? He said what?
He said that she had unconventional hair because her hair was purple, that she would have unconventional thoughts. And were you in the court?
No, I was not.
For 7 weeks?
I was not. But I understand.
I was.
But the
I
idea,
sensational,
right? Well, but again, the notion that she's being dismissed because of her hair, I assume you're assuming it's because of her race, right?
It absolutely was about weight.
Right.
Why was the expert jury consultant brought in who got off people for OJ, who had a racial child, who brought in Kyle Rittenhouse, a young man who bought an AR-15 and killed Americans exercising their
What does Kyle Rittenhouse have to do with it? I'll tell you what, I don't think this case would have been charged if it had been a white victim and a white person who had held him in a chokehold. I don't even think there'd be charges in this
I think it actually would. And I actually think that you would be calling Daniel Penny a murderer. Have you heard of Nathaniel Terry? A 27-year-old black man. He was an absolute monster in 2021. He killed an unidentified to this day homeless man in the project staircase. Did you see BLM come out for that type of monster? Like, grant our credibility.
Well,
when do we come out for cases that are not racially charged, would normally be ignored?
Why is this a race case? Did Daniel Penny say anything racist when it happened?
What is the labeling and the stereotypes? Daniel Penny, when he lied during interrogations, which no one is showing.
But answer my question. When was the race? When did he bring race into this?
Him a crackhead, and he said he was doing crackhead things. The problem is Daniel Penny showed no remorse for nothing he did, and that dishonors the real service people of this country, the real Marines who don't lie, who care for others, and who do no harm.
So do you not blame Jordan Neely at all? I mean, for what he did? He deserves no blame from your perspective, right?
Did you hear the witness testimony?
I'm asking you a question.
Or are you cherry-picking the ones?
I'm asking you a question. Do you blame Jordan Neely at all for his conduct?
If Jordan Neely was a white man, we'd be saying it was an opioid crisis. He was hungry. He was mentally ill. He had a muffin in his pocket. What about a white man during cross-examination who said that he was afraid of Daniel Penny, the one who poured water onto his head and said that he was afraid? He was a white man.
Yeah, okay. So,
what about the Latino man who was holding his arms?
I'm not the one identifying everyone by race. You are. You're the one who keeps telling. Why? Why do you have to? There was nothing in this case.
Because when you look at the FBI, when you look at when hate crimes happen, when you look at when injustice happened to black people,
but let's agree.
We don't get justice.
Let's agree. And to that degree, you have a fair point about the way sometimes the media and the justice system handles. But not in this case. This case, even the prosecutors conceded Daniel Penny had every right to go hands-on, and the question became, okay, when should he have stopped? I understand that.
The time frame on that
from
the DA's office was after 30 seconds. Can you not concede that Daniel Penny was a trained killer, that he not have his gray belt? United States Marine Corps is an assassin?
Sure, but
he knew.
Every Marine is a trained
because
assassin.
actually, black Marines and white Marines have reached out and actually told us he went too far.
But going too far is different from criminal.
Let me break it down. A chokehold, a blood chokehold, which he did. You're only supposed to hold someone in that move for 8 to 13 seconds. You're not supposed to do it longer than 2 minutes. Why did Daniel Penny, when the train was completely clear, everyone was on the platform, why did he hold it for nearly 6 minutes?
Because he was scared.
He was a Marine is scared of of someone he labeled as a crackhead.
Again, is it not possible that Daniel Penny, when he's doing this on the spot, stepping up to help people of many different races, moves in and doesn't have a clock with him to decide when he should stop and when he shouldn't, which is why, in the end, the jury acquitted, right?
No, actually, Daniel Penny was trained very well by the United States Marine Corps, and he knew what the signs were. He knew when Jordan's body was slacking. He knew that Jordan was going to die. Why didn't you show his face, Dan? You're a good man. Of when he laughed and when the first response, I'm critical of the police. We know this, right? NYPD tried to save his life while they were doing chest compressions. Daniel Penny laughed and said chest compressions. A good person, a hero. One last thing. Why did he never ask about the well-being in that police department about Jordan Neely?
So you're asking a hero.
And then Mr. Abrams asked a $64,000 question. Was the jury that included 4, quote, people of color and found Daniel Penny not guilty, was that jury racist?
You're asking a lot of questions that are sort of rhetorical questions, right? But the ultimate question is, why did the jury acquit? Is it because they're racist?
America is inherently biased.
So the jury is racist.
Have you seen the
I'm asking you a question. No, don't change the subject. Is it because the jury is racist?
Yes.
So let me get this straight. Daniel Penny, a white man, subdued Jordan Neely, a black man, with the help of another Good Samaritan whose last name was Gonzalez. Neely posed a threat to passengers on the subway, many, if not most of whom were black. The DA who charged Penny is black. The mayor of New York who praised Penny's heroism is black. The jury that found Penny not guilty, as mentioned, included 4 people of color, But Penny's acquittal, according to the head of the New York chapter of Black Lives Matter, means white supremacy got another victory.
Yes.
Hi, folks. You may be hearing a lot about Yrefy these days. Well, it's true. Investors all over the country are earning a high fixed rate of return, and they don't care what happens with the stock market or the Fed. And it's true, your interest is compounded daily, you're paid monthly, and there are absolutely no fees. And yes, it's true, there is no attack on your principal if you ever need your money back. When you invest with Yrefy like I do, you are in control. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. You don't have to worry about doom and gloom economic news, and you can have peace of mind that you'll receive your statement every month with no surprises. Would you like some more information? Just call 877-80-INVEST, that's 877-80-INVEST, or log on to investyrefy.com, that's investyrefy.com. Yrefy, do well by doing good. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are concerned about the invasion of privacy that is currently going on by the Biden administration? Biden's DOJ is invading individuals' private messages and targeting them based on their political affiliation, and that's why I've partnered with Freedom Chat, a private social messaging app that, like me, believes privacy is your fundamental human right. Freedom Chat has variable end-to-end encryption, built-in screenshot protection, no storage of messages on their servers, and no commercial use of user data. I'm such a fan of Freedom Chat, in fact, that I have created my own private channel that you can subscribe to for exclusive content, including never-seen images, videos, and posts. Simply download the app, or if you're on Android, join their waitlist. Search for my channel and subscribe. No one can see the channels that you are subscribed to or the posts that you react to. It's your own perfectly curated private news feed. Speak freely and message privately with Freedom Chat. Download the app today and subscribe to my channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. Now, during the trial, the prosecution allowed a witness to refer to Daniel Penny as that white man, implying, of course, that what Daniel Penny did had to do with Jordan Neely's race. And the man that helped Daniel Penny subdue Jordan Neely, as I said, his last name was Gonzalez. When the incident was over, he left the subway and didn't talk with the cops. Cops tracked him down, and he denied he was involved in holding down Jordan Neely. But the cops showed him the video that proved he was lying. His lawyer, in exchange for not being charged for lying to the police, agreed to testify against Daniel Penny. Are you kidding me? Now, ever heard of Jordan Williams?
Charges are now dropped against Jordan Williams. That's the man who had been charged with fatally stabbing a fellow passenger on a J train earlier this month.
A Brooklyn grand jury declined to indict, determining he acted in self-defense. Fox 5's Briella Tomasetti joins us now with the very latest. Good morning, Briella.
Yeah, Dan and Tashani, bottom line, Jordan Williams has said this is a decision he will regret every single day for the rest of his life. Jason Goldman, who represents Williams, said it's never a joyous occasion when a life is lost, but Jordan and his loved ones are grateful and relieved that the grand jury saw this for exactly what it was.
Honestly, I was afraid.
1 week after Jordan Williams and his lawyer Jason Goldman spoke with us exclusively on Good Day New York, a grand jury has dropped all charges against him. Williams, just 20 years old, was accused of fatally stabbing a homeless man on a J train earlier this month and subsequently charged with manslaughter. Williams testified before the grand jury for about 45 minutes, saying that he acted in self-defense after the victim, DeVictor Udrago, punched his girlfriend in the face. Video filmed by another passenger and shown to the grand jury reportedly corroborated that.
All I wanted to do was just get me and my girlfriend off the train safely.
The Brooklyn DA's office released this statement, reading in part that its investigation, quote, included review of multiple videos and interviews with all available witnesses, and that evidence was fairly presented to a grand jury. The dismissal of the charges against Jordan Williams came hours after Daniel Penny faced a judge in Lower Manhattan.
Now, why wasn't Jordan Williams charged? Because he's black, and the man he's killed is black. No activists were yelling and screaming and demanding that Jordan Williams be arrested and tried and prosecuted and convicted. If Jordan Williams were white, we'd be having a different conversation. Now, Daniel Penny did not take the stand in his own defense, but here's what he said happened and why he said he took action.
East Village in Manhattan, so I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15, and I took I was at J Street Metro Tech, took the Uptown F train. At 2nd Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on, appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the three main threats that he repeated over and over was, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die." You know, this was a scary situation, and Mr. Yrefy came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me, so it was. And there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And you know, I was scared for myself, but I looked around. I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Yrefy for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. The man who helped restrain Mr. Yrefy was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect. We were all scared. Mr. Yrefy was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw that situation was under control. I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Yrefy. I used this hold to restrain him, and I did this by leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body. You can see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force that he's exerting. And I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable, and I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. Mm-hmm. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed. These public officials would do something so self-serving.
But how does it serve them to hurt you?
Just political gain. I mean, these are their policies that are, and I don't mean to get political. I don't really want to make any enemies, really, although I guess I have already. But I mean, these are their policies that have clearly not worked, that the people, the general population, are not in support of, yet their egos are too big just to admit that they're wrong.
The man is a hero. He should be getting a Congressional Medal of Honor. He should be getting the keys to the city. He should never have been charged. And by the way, this happened just 1 hour after Daniel Penny was found not guilty.
Stop it. Stop
So here's the question. You're on a New York subway an hour after Daniel Penny is acquitted, and this maniac boards the subway and acts like this. What do you do? Welcome to the Big Apple. Now, good to know that Joe Biden wrestled with pardoning Hunter.
In your first briefing here, as press secretary, you committed to speaking to the American people in, and I quote, in a transparent way, in a truthful way, and an honest way.
Yes.
And then in July, here at this podium, you were asked about the president pardoning his son, and he said, it's a no, it will be a no, it's a no.
Yes, and that is exactly right.
Of the president's son and that pardon, it became a yes. I'm wondering if you would like to explain to us, the American people, really why the information that you provided turned out not to be true.
And I answered this question on Monday. We spent about 30 minutes on this, almost 30 minutes, roughly 30 minutes on this particular issue. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said on Air Force One to your colleagues when I did the gaggle. And look, if you look at his statement, it's pretty comprehensive. The statement that he put out on Sunday when he made this decision to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. It's in his own voice. I think it takes you through his thinking, and he did. He wrestled with this. He wrestled with this.
Hold up. Don't do it, Dad. Why did he stop? Why did Jimmy King stop? What's going on here? He just stopped in his tracks. Son, gee, what the hell are you doing?
And again, he said in his statement, in his own voice, that he made that decision this past weekend. And the fact is, when you think about how the president got to this decision, circumstances have changed. They have. And a couple of things, and I said this on Monday as well. Republicans said they weren't going to let up, weren't going to stop. Recently announced Trump appointees for law enforcement have said on the campaign that they were out for retribution, and I think we should believe their words, right? We should believe what they said. The sentencing was coming up, as you all know. There was a sentencing coming up, and the president said this in his statement, that Hunter and his family had been through enough. Enough is enough. And he wrestled with these circumstances.
Now Jimmy King, the recipient of a horrible beating, and it all started with his own son.
These changed circumstances ultimately. And the combination of that, the president changing his mind and issuing, certainly led to the president changing his mind and issuing this pardon. And one thing that I do want to point to, which I think is important, is what Congressman James Clyburn said.
I am absolutely okay with it. I don't know how many people urged him to do so, but I did.
You did?
2 weeks, yes, I did. Because I know he was targeted. We all know that but for the fact he was Joe Biden's son, he would never have been taken through these gyrations. And so I told him the last time I talked to him.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
What was his reaction to that, by the way?
He seemed to be a bit reticent about it, but I emphasized the fact that we as fathers have obligations to our children.
So that was a conversation that the congressman himself had with the president two weeks ago, said that the president was reticent when he encouraged the president to do so. And this weekend, he thought about it, and he weighed, it was not an easy decision to come to, and he put out a comprehensive statement, and I would certainly, offer that up to folks out there who are wondering. I would say, please read the president's response to this in full.
I'm sure my colleagues have some thoughts, just very specifically.
It's not only colleagues who watch this. There's also the American people. So to be fair,
and they were told by you in July that this would not happen, and it did. You, I'm asking for yourself, not the presidency, but for yourself. Feel like you owe an apology by the president. You owe an apology to the American people.
See, I just laid out the president's thinking. The president laid it out himself in his own words. He did. He laid out how he wrestled with this decision.
Look out, Jimmy!
He said in his statement, as a president, as a father, he talked about how difficult it was to make this decision. He thought about it this weekend. He did. He thought about it this weekend. He wrestled with it. And there are some, factors, some real factors that he took into consideration. And that's why I keep saying folks should just take a look. Take a look. Read his statement. And I know what I said. I know what the president said. That is where we were at the time. That is where the president was at the time. I am his spokesperson. This weekend, he thought about it. He wrestled with it. And made this decision. That's what I can tell the American people. And I think, I think the American people understand. And I think they understand how difficult this decision would be. And I would actually add, and I think it's important to note here as you're asking me these questions, important questions to ask, that there was a poll, a US Gov poll that came out, that some of you all reported on it, and it said 64% of the American people agree with the pardon. 64% of the American people. 64%, 64%, 64%, 64%, 64%. Huh? So we get a sense of where the American people are on this. Obviously it's one poll, but it gives you a little bit of insight. 64% is nothing to sneeze at. But again, the president talked about this, his own words. He said this weekend he wrestled with this.
Corey, get up and get that belt!
This weekend he thought about this, and he made this decision.
Been chopping trees. I done something new for this fight. I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Man, dude.
Bad. Fast. Last night, I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark.
Incredible.
Fast.
Americans have had enough of supporting companies that hate our values. Tired of compromise? So am I. It's time to switch to Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They are an example of putting the cause ahead of profits, and that's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you access to all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch over to Patriot Mobile, you're sending a message that you support the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, and our military vets and our first responder heroes. Their 100% US-based customer service team makes it easy to switch, keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. That's patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use the offer code Larry. Join me and make that switch today. patriotmobile.com/Larry, patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. Located in the heart of Sugar House, Salt Lake City, Utah, family-owned El Cholo is a vibrant Mexican restaurant offering a unique dining experience across 2 stylish levels. With a beautiful bar, chic design, and stunning views of the Wasatch Mountains, it's the perfect spot for both casual meals and special occasions. El Cholo can host up to 250 people, making it an ideal venue for events like weddings, parties, or corporate gatherings. Whether you're enjoying authentic Mexican dishes or sipping cocktails like our signature margarita, the restaurant's warm ambiance and prime location attract a diverse crowd, including the University of Utah students who love the flavorful dishes and wonderful, lively atmosphere. El Cholo is a favorite gathering spot for locals and visitors alike. 2166 South 900th East, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84106. Phone number 385-426-2166. Other locations in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, downtown LA, Anaheim Hills, Corona del Mar, and La Habra. elcholo.com, that's elcholo.com. Let's call this a trilogy. Part 1.
So Trump basically gave small men the ability and the courage to be misogynistic and hateful and say shit like your body, my choice, and you won't have a choice, and you will bear my child whether you like it or not. And the comments are so gross. The things that men say to women are so gross. And I don't know why more men don't come to defense of women. I don't know why men witness aggressions towards women and they just stand idly by and do nothing. I don't understand it, because in my many years of existing as a woman, I've only had it happen twice where I went to a man and expressed that I was uncomfortable, or this man was making me uncomfortable, or this man did something where they actually stood up to them. Most of the time, men just shrug it off like, oh, that's your problem, or you can take care of yourself, which I think can. But I don't understand why more men don't have the courage to stick up to these small men who think that they can do whatever they want and say whatever they want to women. And I'm sick of it. I just delete and block these comments. I don't even entertain them, but it's gross. That's all my thoughts.
Apparently, she is unaware that some of her customers are also on TikTok, or she arrogantly assumed that her customers all voted for Biden, or arrogantly assumed that the customers who voted for Trump would have no problem with the way she trashed the man they voted for. Here's part 2.
So this is me suffering the consequences of my own actions. I just had a client send her husband into my salon and demand a refund for gift cards pre-purchased because of my stance that if you support a racist, homophobic, misogynist rapist, and you're okay with those things because you supported them, that you are in fact those things. And she was so offended by that she said that she did not feel comfortable coming to my salon anymore. And he demanded, and I said, I don't give refunds on gift cards, but he was just being rude. And so I didn't want to deal with him anymore. And I didn't want to deal with them anyway, because I knew that whole family were Trump supporters, because I've been doing her for 15 years. I've been to her family functions and family events. She's given me gifts over the years. Like, she was a very good client. And I knew that she was Republican, which I don't have a problem with you being a Republican. I have a problem with you wanting to strip human rights away from people. And now it's become evidently clear that Project 2025 was the agenda, and I will stand up for human rights and suffer those consequences, because I will stand up for interracial marriage. I will stand up for same-sex marriage. I will stand up for every right of every trans person in this country. I will stand up for the rights of women and being able to decide their own bodily autonomy for themselves. I will stand up for those basic human rights. And if I lose a client because I stand up for human rights and you are offended, which, by the way, if you're offended that I said that, you might want to do some inner work, because the racism and the homophobia and the misogyny in this country is so deeply ingrained in your subconscious that you are unwilling to understand anything, then I can't understand it for you. So if you want to not be my client anymore because I stand up for human rights, like I said in my video, if the shoe fits, Wear it with your whole foot, Cinderella.
Perhaps it's time to consider an alternate source of income?
They're dropping like flies. I lost one of my clients today who clearly was a Trump supporter. And they sent me a message. They never cancel their appointment. They don't have the courage to cancel their appointment. And it's just rude. But anyway, she messaged me after I had messaged her, like, hey, I had you down at 3, just making sure you're on your way. I'm making sure you're okay. And she wrote back, Dear Tiffany, spelled my name wrong. I am so sorry that this last election has upset you so much as to elicit the hateful public post you made on TikTok. Not once, but twice. I have really thought highly about you, and your posts have broken my heart. Since you have made it clear how you feel about anyone who doesn't share your opinion, I feel you have left no opinion but for me to move on. I wish you the best, and I am terribly sorry. So, just continuing to lose clients, and I would rather go work at Chipotle, and I was not lying when I said that I was headed to my Chipotle interview, because I did apply to Chipotle, because I'm not going to ask for a handout, and it's been a rough year. I'm a single mom, and my ex-husband does help me out a lot during this time because I refuse to ask for help. But I would rather go and do what I need to do and work at Chipotle after my 22-year career in this industry and refuse to let people feel comfortable in my space to support racism, homophobia, and misogyny, and a rapist. I would rather go work there than have people feel comfortable in my space with that and that mentality. So, again, I'm reaping what I sow. I am suffering the consequences of my own actions, but I stand by what I said. I absolutely stand by what I said. And so if you see me working at Chipotle as a business owner and a salon owner of 22 years, say hi. Be kind, because this life is hard.
By the way, don't tell her that Chipotle has a policy against Trump haters mouthing off.
Come after us. Stop. You when you don't get your cheap ass.
Hey, this is a family environment. Please
I am leaving.
Leave right now. This is a family environment. We're not doing that here. We represent Panera Bread and the brand. I don't care who you voted for, who you love, who you worship. Get out.
I'm not going to have my rights taken away.
Nobody's questioning anybody's right.
That's all I'm doing.
Please leave these other guests alone. We're not interacting.
Speaking of open-mindedness and tolerance.
Story time. I went to UCLA, and I was there in 2016 when Trump was elected, and we're on the quarter system, so it's only 10-week classes. And in the middle, he got elected during the week 5, which was midterms, and all of my professors gave all of the students, a safe space and time off from school if they wanted to heal and quote unquote mourn the loss of our country. That's literally what they emailed us and would say. This lasted from week 5 to week 7. And so in one of my classes in week 7, I was in a small group, like teacher's assistant discussion, and those were mandatory. And I was there as like 25 people, and all we did was just talk about, everyone was crying, right? And I didn't say anything. I just sat there. I listened. I was respectful. I was quiet. And then the TA said, Avery, we haven't heard from you. How are you coping with this? And I said, well, I'm doing well. I voted for Trump, and I think this is going to be a great 4 years. And I'm here to learn. I'm not here to talk about politics. This isn't a poli-sci class. And I got kicked out of the class. I was told to leave that class and not return for the remainder of the quarter, because I was, quote unquote, a threat to my fellow students' safety. Because I voted for Donald Trump. I was a threat to their safety. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I literally just shared that I voted for him because I was asked. That was when I was like, this is insane. These people need to be stopped. We cannot be silent anymore. And I only started posting on TikTok 3 weeks ago. So if you have the fire in your belly, go for it. Because they're going to hate you anyway. I mean, I don't hate them. I hate no one. I don't hate anyone. I would never judge someone based on, like, really anything. However they live their life, whatever. Could care less. I care about who somebody is as a person. But they want to label me all these things like racist and misogynistic, anti-woman, transphobic, homophobic, all these things that are just simply not factually correct about me. Sad. Speak up, guys.
When it comes to pardons, some pardons are more pardonable than others.
President Trump, as he winds down his last few weeks in office, is considering preemptive pardons for all his adult children, including his son-in-law, Jared. What a mess. More as we know. Cue all the hand-wringing and gnashing of teeth today about a president using his power, his pardon power, his powers as president, to do something for a family member. Tell me more about how outraged we all are about President Biden's pardon for his son.
The presidential pardon was originally meant to grant the president the power to temper justice with mercy. It was not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their corrupt practices. I don't have a problem with Biden pardoning his son. He should have pardoned him. The crazies are coming, right? But to me, it's like, pardon more.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. President Biden has issued a full and unconditional pardon for his son, Hunter.
Do you ever wake up and realize your life has no purpose?
Do I have a death wish? Morgan asked. Maybe I did. I thought this would be our final run ever. We had made millions and millions of dollars, but God had other plans.
Peter Lowe, the one-time drug dealer turned pastor, along with 2 others, will be executed at 12 midnight local time.
You can be in heaven or you can be in hell. The choice is yours. I found Christ in here, and he forgave me.
My name is Peter Lowe, and I will be executed in 2 hours.
Jesus is for free, and salvation is a gift. Do you believe in Jesus?
Blue Line Moving is a veteran-owned full-service moving company dedicated to serving families across South Florida, as well as nationwide over the past 10 years. Whether it's moving furniture, organizing items, or packing your belongings, we go the extra mile to make sure it's all done right. We provide clients with an affordable and stress-free moving experience every step of the way. BlueLineMovingAndStorage.com. That's BlueLineMovingAndStorage.com. This brings us to former President Barack Obama, who said Republicans are the ones who rig elections and weaponize the justice system.
There are going to be times, potentially, when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a permanent grip on power, either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents. And in those circumstances, pluralism does not call for us to just stand back and say, well, I'm not sure. That's okay. In those circumstances, a line has been crossed, and we have to stand firm.
Isn't this the same Obama who, when Trump complained about rigged elections, says, you couldn't rig a presidential election? We have 50 different states. It's not possible.
The larger point that I want to emphasize here is that there is no serious person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections, in part because they're so decentralized and the numbers of votes involved. There's no evidence that that has happened in the past or that there are instances in which that will happen this time. And so I'd advise Mr. Trump to stop whining and go try to make his case to get votes.
And says the man who authorized Operation Crossfire Hurricane to investigate candidate Donald Trump on the grounds that Trump was colluding with the Russians to get elected. And don't get me started on Barack Obama. Okay, you just did. This guy has done so much damage and is continuing to do so much damage. It's hard to put it in words. Stack the deck. It's under his administration that Operation Crossfire Hurricane was launched. That's the operation that alleged that Donald Trump was engaging in collusion with the Russians to get him elected. Still dossier, phony, paid for by Hillary and the DNC, and they called the payment what? Legal expenses. FEC investigated, gave him a slap on the wrist. Nobody got charged criminally, a la Donald Trump by the Manhattan DA, who said that calling the Stormy Daniels money a legal expense was somehow a violation of federal law. In some tortured way, even people on the left said, I've never seen any charge like this before. Suppressing votes. What is your evidence? Remember when Joe Biden said it's worse than Jim Crow, it's Jim Eagle, referring to the election laws in Georgia that made it easier to vote, harder to steal, harder to cheat. No evidence of this whatsoever.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. I mean, this is gigantic, what they're trying to do, and it cannot be sustained.
Stacey Abrams claimed that she lost her gubernatorial race because of voter suppression. Fact checkers said no evidence of it at all. Using the judicial system to go after your enemies, said Barack Obama. I mean, what have we seen in the last several years against Donald Trump? The Florida case, Joe Biden, more documents in more places that he shouldn't have had than Donald Trump, with less plausible reason. Donald Trump, as president, had the ability to declassify documents. Biden was not president and had documents going back as far as when he was in the Senate, for crying out loud, and got those documents apparently out of a skiff that's a secret compartment area. You can't even bring in a pencil, let alone take out documents, which he did. And Robert Hur, the special counsel, said there's no question that Joe Biden violated the law by having all these documents, but that no prosecutor would charge him because he's an old man with a poor memory. Meanwhile, they raid Mar-a-Lago, go into closets. It's disgusting. And Obama is accusing the Republicans of using the judicial system to go after enemies after what they've done to Trump. Now, when it comes to the Chicago City Council and the mayor spending money on illegals, the natives in Chicago, well, let's say, they're restless.
You told Trump you ain't gonna blink? Well, we ain't either. You ain't above the law. And where you gonna run to when Trump pulls that Trump card out on you?
There's a 10-year prison sentence when you want to stand up here for those illegals.
You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaigned and doubled down that you would not raise property taxes. I ain't gonna do that. You campaigned went around doing that. And here we are right now. You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want a forensic
Ma'am, I would ask that you
keep
your, hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time. Just a second. Stop her time. Ma'am, I would ask that you, if you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate, okay? All right.
Alex.
Okay, you can begin her time again.
You're going to spend our tax dollars to go, Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. You said you're going to spend our tax dollars to take Trump to court to protect these illegals if they try to come in here in your district. And then you said all of y'all in cahoots with each other to do it. Okay, so now we about to make y'all famous. We're gonna let all y'all constituents know who y'all ratting for, that y'all wouldn't spend our tax dollars to protect illegals and to get them legal services. So that's what we're doing. That's cool, because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Flip Chicago red. We not playing. Make an example out this Negro right here first.
Damn! Negro? Well, I guess it's better than being called the black face of white supremacy. Speaking of California.
What are your thoughts on Governor Gavin Newsom publicly declaring he'll do everything in his power to actively defy President Trump and Tom Homan from removing illegal immigrants from California?
Well, Stephen, I wish he'd do everything in his power to govern California as he's elected to do. We have the highest unemployment in the nation. I repeat, the highest unemployment in the nation, the slowest job creation in the nation, the greatest number of homelessness in the nation, the widest disparity between rich and poor in the nation. We've lost 1 million people in the last 3 years. Our schools are rated near the bottom. The man has taken a $100 billion budget surplus and turned it into a projected $60 billion budget deficit. He's passed legislation that jacked up the minimum wage when many of us told him it was going to cause wholesale unemployment for fast food workers that the law applies to. And when he signed the law between then and now, it went into effect on April the 1st, 10,500 fast food workers have lost their jobs, many of whom are the very black and brown people that people on the left like Gavin Newsom report to care about. He shut down the state in a more draconian way than anybody else. 1/3 of all restaurants in California, because of the lockdown, are now gone forever. Again, many of these are the mom and pop shops owned by black and brown people that people like Gavin Newsom report to care about. So as far as I'm concerned, he should stick to his job and stop trying to thwart Donald Trump. What will happen, however, California is already a sanctuary state. And what Gavin Newsom is doing is going down the red carpet for anybody who's an illegal alien who fears deportation to come to California, which will only make the state worse.
Wow, okay, that's interesting. So it's almost like a clarion call. Hey, we'll protect you, but as you mentioned, I believe...
Come on down. You get a car.
He's given the Oprah method, right? When you were running against him for governor, I remember, he kept, on the one hand, he was begging Pelosi and Trump, we've got to get COVID money to California. We're going bankrupt. And then when he gets recalled and he's going to lose, suddenly he finds money for a stimulus check just for California residents and brags about this huge surplus. And now you say, what is the deficit he's running?
It's projected to be almost $60 billion. Yeah, and much of the COVID money was stolen. As much as maybe a third of it was stolen. Tens of billions of dollars went to people in prisons, people who were out of the state, people who weren't qualified for it. The money was not monitored whatsoever. This is the kind of efficiency and oversight that you can expect from a President Gavin Newsom, and believe me, he is going to run for president. It's just a question of when he announces.
When he runs, though, won't his track record be Build Back Broker? I mean, like California, I'm reading that he's spending something like $75,000 per resident per year. It's the highest taxes in the country, and yet the government is bankrupt.
Well, that's right. Well, he'll blame it on somebody else. He'll figure out some sort of way of blaming it on Donald Trump. He'll blame it on forces that he can't control. He'll spin it in some sort of way, just as Kamala Harris somehow tried to suggest that the inflation that people are experiencing either wasn't their fault, that Donald Trump caused it, or it ain't that bad. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to change the subject. They're going to run on things like abortion and climate change. This guy is a climate change extremist. By the year 2035, he is banning the sale of gasoline-powered cars in the state. And he's just now pushed a new fuel formula so that probably the average person in California will be paying 90 cents a gallon more than we're already paying. We have the highest gas prices in the nation. I think the only place higher is Hawaii, for obvious reasons. So this is going to be his track record, but somehow he'll explain it away. And keep in mind, you have the left-wing media that hates Republicans, that hates Donald Trump. So his record will not be examined in a way that a Republican's record would be examined. That's the advantage that they always have. The head of Syria has fallen and fled the country. A terror group has taken over Syria. Iran is reeling in the wake of Israel's strikes. So the number one funder of terror, Iran, is running out of options. This is why the Syrian dictator lost support. The leader of Hezbollah, dead. Hamas, decimated. Muslim sects are fighting other sects. Leaders are fighting other leaders. The only thing they can agree on is a common hatred of Israel, and that Israel is, in fact, an apartheid state. Really? Ask this Arab Israeli.
I'm glad that you brought, Mr. President, the uploading to the social media, because get this. Listen to this.
انا قاعد بكلمك من جوبا بسيم افتح الواتس تبعه قول له وين شوف كيف قتله شوف كيف قتلت بيدي يابا ابنك قتل يهود هاي دخل مفلسين يابا يابا قاعد بكلمك من جوال يهوديه قتلتها وقتلت جوزها 10 بيدي يابا قتلت 10 يابا 10 بيدي قتلت
I understand, I'll translate, don't worry. It's for the majority of Arab speakers here. Okay, this is a Palestinian, not affiliated with Hamas, according to what he says, just a citizen. And he's saying, Dad, Allahu Akbar, I just killed 10 Jews. I have their blood on my hand. I stole her phone. I'm speaking with you from her phone. This is a Palestinian, which you will call a civilian if the IDF eliminates. So this is one of the many videos that Hamas uploaded, and they themselves were proud of killing, guess what, Arabs and Jews in the 7th of October. And just before I start actually my speech, you know, it's funny, Mr. President, you as an Egyptian talking about the land of Palestine and stalling. You know, back in 1948, when the Arabs did not agree to the partition plan and the Jews did, and they opened the war and they lost the war. They lost the war, but you know what? They kept the West Bank and they kept Gaza. Do you know who actually ruled Gaza between 48 to 67 and who ruled the West Bank between 48 to 67? No, not Israel. It was Egypt in Gaza, and it was Jordan illegally in the West Bank. Now, here's a question, rhetorical one, because I really don't care about your answer. From 48 to 67, you as an Egyptian You should know that Egypt controlled Gaza, yet they never offered a state to the Palestinians to take, which right now they are actually fighting for. They're also fighting for the West Bank. They're fighting for borders of 67. That's at least what the Palestinian Authority wants. Not like Muhammad al-Kurd and all the distinguished speakers who wants the annihilation of Israel from the river to the sea, right? But here's the thing. How much I bet with you that you have no clue which river and which sea, but you are like zombies. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Listen carefully. If you want to free Palestine, first free Palestine from Hamas. First free Palestine from the terrorists. Here's the thing. If I say free Palestine from Hamas and you actually booing, then guys, I'm sorry to tell you, you are a terror supporters. Point. That is the point. Now, when I'll give you, I promise you, I'll give you. I'll tell you what, I thought by giving point of information, it means that the speaker is brave and he's not afraid to speak. Apparently, the president here is such a coward that he couldn't even take one point on view. But don't worry, I will allow you. Nico, stop tape. In Arabic we say sidni'at, in Hebrew says stop tape. It's really fun. Now, for her.
This is the second time this speaker has been booed, which is important.
I'm fully aware of the forms of the House, and I will do my best to make sure that the speaker is heard in silence. Thank you.
To be honest with you, I'm not surprised, and in fact, when everybody say, I hope...
Another point of what has been raised, I have to take it.
Just for the sake of having the debate, could the speakers on the opposition please avoid the hostility towards members of the House, just for the sake of continuing this debate?
The point of what has been up. Thank you very much. Please continue.
All right, so, basically, what we're talking about... Yeah.
I think members of the opposition will afford the same courtesy to members of the House as they receive.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, just to make one very obvious statement, you know, everybody is saying the House should vote. I hope the House would vote, as if we already don't know what the House is going to vote tonight. But you know why I'm here? I'm here, one, just to show you that we are not afraid to confront all those anti-Israeli lawyers who twist the facts and lie time after time. And what's so crazy is that the majority of you have never been in the land of Israel, have never lived in the land of Israel, and then you have the audacity to come to speak to an Arab who was born in Haifa, the largest mixed city in Israel, raised in Nazareth, one of the largest Arab city in Israel, and then you get the audacity to tell me if I live under apartheid regime? Shame on you. You have no clue what you're talking about. So allow me, in order for me to actually explain what's going on. Thank you. Let's go back to my childhood. I'm an Arab Israeli born in Haifa, largest mixed city in Israel, where you have Christians, Muslims, Druze, and Jews living in the city. At age 3, I moved to Nazareth with my parents, which is the largest Arab city in Israel back then. Today it's Rahat. And the way I grew up because, you know, being with Jews and Arabs together, playing football together. That's what we like. And because we were playing football in the largest mixed city in Haifa, we had Jews, Christians, Muslims, and Druze playing together. And do you think at the age of 11, 12, we cared that this guy is a Jew or this guy is an Arab? We just wanted to play football together. And that's what we did. And step by step, we start going out together, drinking, even inviting each other to holidays. Yes, for instance, Christmas, then the Christian friends would invite the Jews and the Muslims and the Druze to see the holidays of Christmas, for instance. Whether it was Eid al-Adha, then the Muslims or the Druze would invite the Jews, and the Christians and the Jews would invite them to see each other and how is those holidays going together. And yes, when it was post-Passover, then the Jews would invite the Christians and the Muslims and the Druze to see the holidays. This is how we bridge gaps. Additionally, we wanted to learn Hebrew and we wanted to learn Arabic because language, you bridge gaps. This is how I grew up. And when I arrived to the age of 16, I asked myself a very simple question because I saw that my Druze men friend and the Jewish friends are starting their enlistment to the IDF. Now, I asked the question, why am I not serving in the IDF? Apparently, some people do not realize that Arab Christians and Arab Muslims are not obligated to serve in the IDF, but if you want, you can volunteer. I decided to volunteer and serve in the IDF. Many people ask me, why did you choose to take that decision and actually serve in the IDF? I said, guys, it's in the initials. It's the IDF, it's not the JDF. And IDF means Israeli Defense Forces are not Jewish Defense Forces. And when Hamas and Hezbollah and the Iranian regime attack Israel, they attack all the citizens of Israel. And when the IDF protects Israel, the IDF protects all the citizens of Israel, whether you want it or not. This is how I looked at it, and this is how exactly it was. And then when I arrived at the age of 18, just a month and a half before the beginning of my service, a person came to me and said, Yusuf, are you absolutely sure that this is the way and the path that you want to take? And I said 100% yes. That was about, thank you very much. I'm very proud of that shame. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm really, really proud of that shame. Now, and I said, yes, I'm 100% sure that this is the way that I want to take. All this was right up until the 4th of October, 2003. On the 4th of October 2003, which is a month and a half before my beginning of the service, a Palestinian female suicide bomber entered the Maxim restaurant in Haifa and blew up that restaurant. It's a restaurant co-owned by Arabs and Jews. People from Arabs and Jews are eating there, working there. The devastating result of that terror attack, 21 Israelis were murdered, Arabs and Jews. Over 50 were injured, Arabs and Jews. Arabs and Jews were killed because of that Palestinian terrorist. From that moment, I realized one thing. My decision wasn't 100%. It became 1,000,000%. And I knew that serving in the IDF is not only the right thing, but it's the most moral thing to protect my society. And when I say my society, I'm not talking about the Jewish society. I'm talking about the Israeli society, where you have Jews and Arabs together. And you can shout shame as much as you want. As I told you, I am so proud in every decision that I took to protect my country, to protect my society, and to protect my people from terrorist organizations like Hamas, who time after time kill Arabs and Jews. Now, after a year, I become a commander. I, as an Arab, was a commander over Jewish soldiers in the IDF. Take that, apartheid. You're talking about apartheid. I gave orders to Jewish soldiers to do exactly what an Arab IDF soldiers said to do. And then, as I said, you keep shouting shame. I'm proud of that, proud of that, proud of that, proud of that. I do want the time when they shout shame. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to actually give you a point. One time I was in a lecture, and I gave exactly this point where I said, I'm an Arab. I commanded over Jewish soldiers in the IDF. And then some anti-Israeli zombie got up and says, Yusuf, you are an absolute sucker. You know why? And I said, why? Because once there is no use of you, you're an Arab. The Jews will kick you and throw you to the garbage. That's what has been told to me in front of 500 students. When there is no use of you, the Jews will throw you. Everybody started cheering there from the anti-Israelis, clapping and like having fun. And I say, this is really interesting. Because you know what? I have a story where there was no use of me. And in fact, not only there was no use of me, but saving me is putting Jewish lives in danger. Now, according to this anti-Israeli, this is the perfect time. I do need to finish this story. They interrupted me too many times. Now, as I said, this person who said to me that Jews will throw you in the garbage, then based on his idea, this is exactly the best time to do it. Throw me to the garbage. But instead of that, 4 soldiers put me on a stretcher. Yes, because I participated in the Second Lebanon War. Fight Hezbollah, the terrorist organization. And I was injured 4 days before ceasefire. At that time when I was injured badly, and knowing that Hezbollah is going to target the rescue mission, the Jewish soldiers there, they should have thrown me to the garbage according to him. But instead of that, they put me on a stretcher, lifted it up, backed up with another 4 Jewish soldiers, run 3 kilometers, under fire when an RPG goes above your head, and literally bringing me to safety, saving my life. They didn't have to do that according to any thesis that you think about. Everybody talking about the relationship between the Arabs and Jews, and let me tell you why I'm so positive, so strong voice about that. Because while you what's going on, I felt it, I smelled it, I tasted it, I saw it, I heard it. It happened to me. You want to lie? Keep lie. But the simple fact is, when you arrive and speak about the apartheid myth, you need to understand that when you talk about apartheid, you either bring facts or you be quiet. Because according to Amnesty International, Israel is making an apartheid regime from the river to the sea, including the 2 million Arab Israelis, which is a blended lie from the river to the sea. Because here, this is me, winning actually an honorary doctorate from the University of Ariel when you talk about academics. This is Salim Jubran, an Arab judge who sent to prison a Jewish prime minister and a Jewish president for committing crimes. Both of them were Jews. An Arab judge sent to prison a Jewish prime minister and a Jewish president to jail. You see this MK? This MK is the most anti-Israeli member of Knesset in Israel. Yet this MK earns $10,000 from the taxpayer. Most of them comes from a Jew, and he has the right to talk about Israel as much as he wants. If he lived in apartheid, he would be in jail right now. And how about Samir Hajjahya? You know what's so amazing? There's a stereotype. They say the Jews control the money. Jews control the money. Well, guess what? Samir Hajjahya is an Arab Muslim from the city of Taibeh. You know what's so amazing about Samir Hajjahya? Should I say Dr. Samir Hajjahya? He was the head of the largest bank in Israel. An Arab Muslim is the head of the largest bank in Israel in a stereotype where you see that the Jews control the money. And how about this guy? I'll finish. I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish.
Not a point of information. I have to receive it. Could I have a point of order?
Let's take the microphone a little bit. Thank you for that. And I'll try to be less intensive, but you obviously understand how it is important when I stand in front of you, knowing my reality, and when there are a bunch of people that never been in Israel and telling me my reality, of course I would be a little bit with over motivation and talking like this. Let's continue about the Israeli apartheid. Look at this. This is Anan Khalaili. He's an Arab Muslim playing for the Israeli football team. Not only that, when he played for the under-19 Israeli soccer team, he finished as the top scorer, where Israel achieved an unbelievable achievement, finishing third in football. This is crazy, I'm telling you. Now, before I finish, here's what you will not going to hear. What you're not going to hear from our nice gentlemen and opponents here, you will not hear them talking about this person. I'm not even sure that they know who is this person. Do you have any idea, Mr. President? Anybody? Anybody has idea who is this? Of course not. You know, this is Islam Hijazi. She was killed with more than 90 bullets by Hamas because she wouldn't give them aid. She was responsible for giving aid. And when Hamas, the terrorists, came to take this aid and she refused, they shot her. You know what's so crazy? They did not deny it. Whoever calling me liar, Hamas did not deny it, you useful idiots. Well, you know, but here's the story. You will never ever talk about it. But here is my last point about the apartheid, about the relationship of the Arabs and the Jews. Does anybody of you even know who they are? Yusuf and Hamza? Yusuf and Hamza are Arab Muslim Israelis who were kidnapped by the terrorist organization Hamas on the 7th of October and still held hostages over 415 days. This is the reality. And if you think, and look at this person here, booing the Arab Muslims. So you understand the reality, huh? There is a person here that booing Arab Muslims being held hostage by the terrorist organization Hamas. This is absolutely unbelievable. And this is my last comment, because I know that I've been here because of this interruptings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, just to let you know, if anybody, because I've heard here someone saying collaborator, I really don't want you. I don't want you. I've heard. I've heard that someone called me here collaborator. I really urge you not to insult Nico Pellet, please. That's one. And second, to refer to the genocide act that you're talking about. There's a reason why all of you, or the majority of you, talking about 40,000. Ask yourself one question. Why you never differentiate between combatants and civilians? Why you always bringing 40,000, 40,000? Once you start realizing that the IDF managed to eliminate more than 10,000 terrorists, you will understand what something called the ratio in war, unfortunately, that Hamas started. Whether you like it or you don't like it, I know. No, they're booing me and I can't finish. I want to finish.
Order.
I want to finish.
Order. Could I ask the speaker to conclude?
I really want to finish. Guys, I really want to finish. Keep booing me, and I'm going to keep going. Go. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, what is happening in Gaza today, what is happening in the war that you, it means Hamas and their supporters, started, and now they're crying, it's only because of the simple fact that you are losing. You're losing the Lebanese, you're losing the Arab world, you're losing every single thing that you thought that you can win. And you know why you're losing? I'm done.
He has been very generous with his time. I asked you to respect the rules of the House.
Fine. I'm just four less words. You know what you're losing? Because you thought you could destroy Israel, but Israel is here to stay.
And can we please stop the lie that these anti-Israel groups really want a peaceful, side-by-side, two-state coexistence with Israel? They don't.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming to campus tonight and presenting your point of view. It's always valuable to have two sets of views going on at the same time. Very useful. My name is Jumana Imad Musa Ahmed Al-Bahri, and I'm a student here at UCSD. I was reading your literature. I found that much more interesting than the talk. And I found some interesting things about the MSA, which is an organization that's very active on campus, and it is hosting our annual Hitler Youth Week. You should come out to those events. If you could clarify the connection between the MSA and jihad terrorist networks, because last I checked, we had to do our own fundraising, and we never get help from anyone. So if you could clarify the connection between UCSD's MSA, or if you don't have such information, if you could connect other MSAs on UCs, because the connection wasn't too clear in the pamphlet. Just if you could clarify.
Okay. Will you condemn Hamas here and now?
I'm sorry, what?
Will you condemn Hamas?
Would I condemn Hamas?
As a terrorist genocidal organization?
Are you asking me to put myself on a cross?
So you won't. I actually have had this experience many times. You didn't read the pamphlet because the pamphlet is chapter and verse. The main connection is that the MSA is part of the Muslim Brotherhood Network as revealed in the documents.
I don't think you understood what I meant by that. I meant if I say something, I'm sure that I will be arrested for reasons of Homeland Security. So if you could please just answer my question.
If you condemn Hamas, Homeland Security will arrest you.
If I support Hamas, because your question forces me to condemn Hamas. If I support Hamas, I look really bad.
If you don't condemn Hamas, obviously you support it. Case closed. I have had this experience, I had this experience at UC Santa Barbara where there were 50 members of the Muslim Students Association sitting right in the rows there. And throughout my hour talk, I kept asking them, will you condemn Hezbollah and Hamas? And none of them would. And then when the question period came, the president of the Muslim Students Association was the first person to ask questions. And I said, before you start, will you condemn Hezbollah? And he said, well, that question is too complicated for a yes-no answer. So I said, okay, I'll put it to you this way. I'm a Jew. The head of Hezbollah has said that he hopes that we will gather in Israel so he doesn't have to hunt us down globally. For it or against it?
For it.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and showing everybody what's here.
Now, I've got a question. I always thought the song YMCA was in fact a sort of gay anthem. Does that mean I'm gonna get sued?
We're not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's fine if that's who you are.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have many gay friends.
My father's gay.
Look, I know what I heard. Heard? It was a joke.
All right, look, you want to have sex right now? Do you want to have sex with me right now? Let's go. Come on, let's go, baby. Come on. Need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man.
I want to get in on this. Can you put that camera on me? I don't know if he deserves the credit for it. I'm just saying that has always been my move, and I'm not so sure Trump beat me to it. In fact, Billy Crystal, do you remember in When Harry Met Sally, the white man's overbite?
You go dancing, you do the white man's overbite.
That's what he's doing there. It's now spread to sports, the move on the soccer pitch to the football field, all over the place. The YMCA resurgence is here, and the song's writer and lead singer of the Village People, Victor Willis, took notice, writing on Facebook, quote, YMCA has benefited greatly from use by the president-elect. The song finally made it to #1 on the Billboard chart after over 45 years and held on to #1 for 2 weeks due to the president-elect's use. The financial benefits have been great, as well as YMCA is estimated to gross several $1 million since the president-elect's continued use of the song. Therefore, I'm glad I allowed the president-elect's continued use of YMCA, and I thank him for choosing to use my song. Then Willis takes issue with a few other things, including referencing the song as a gay anthem, which President-elect Trump has also done.
YMCA, the gay national anthem. Did you ever hear that? They call it the gay national anthem.
Well, come 2025, even the president could get sued for that. Willis writing on his Facebook, quote, so to the extent that YMCA is considered a gay anthem based on the fact that gays once used certain YMCAs for illicit activity, the assumption that the song alludes to that is completely misguided. Therefore, since I wrote the lyrics and ought to know what the lyrics I wrote are really about, come January 2025, my wife will start suing each and every news organization that falsely refers to YMCA, either in their headlines or alluded to it in the base of that story that YMCA is somehow a gay anthem, because such notion is based solely on the song's lyrics alluding to illicit activity for which it does not.
We're not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
However, I don't mind that gays think of the song as their anthem. Wow, a lot to unpack. Let's ask Victor Willis, the writer of YMCA, the lead singer of the... Oh, come on. You look awesome. You look awesome.
Thank you. Do you want to have sex with me right now? Let's go.
All right, I'm loving it already. I lost my train of thought, by the way, just looking at you. So, first of all, what's the beef? Like, I can today say it's the gay anthem, but you're going to sue me on CNN if I say that in January?
Well, no, I do think the gay community should be aware that the lyrics are not referring to what they believe the lyrics are referring to that would make the song, in their minds, a gay anthem, such as illicit activity at the Y. No, I wouldn't be suing you over it, so don't trip.
Okay, so you wrote the lyrics. What's the song about?
Well, the song is about my growing up experiences in San Francisco, in the urban area, where I used to go to the Y. We used to play basketball, and we play sports. And me and my boys, we used to use the expression hanging out with the boys. So we'd hang out at the Y, and we had various basketball teams from the city after school, and we'd go there and swim and go to the gym, and et cetera. And that's basically what the song was about, that I was writing about my experiences at the Y growing up in San Francisco as a youth.
Why isn't your bank asking what's in your heart? When big banks cancel your account because they don't like your politics, or they share your transaction data with the government, it's no wonder they don't ask what's in your heart. That's not what they care about. Old Glory Bank is different. We're the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Started by Dr. Ben Carson, Larry Elder, and John Rich, we proudly serve customers in all 50 states. Open your account in minutes at oldglorybank.com. We stand with you.
When researching water treatment systems, I believe there is good, better, and the best system is Century H2O. It removes harmful toxins like ammonia, lead, fluoride, cyanide, chlorine, arsenic, sulfates, pesticides, pharmaceutical VOCs, and many more. Plus, Century H2O water treatment systems boost the alkalinity, oxygen, and pH of the drinking water. It's an easy under-the-sink install and is perfect for any household. A huge reassurance about Century H2O systems is that they are backed by science with extensive research from independent lab tests. All report results are on their website, centuryh2o.com. You can have peace of mind, no more concerns about the safety of your water. Best of all, a Century H2O water treatment system is less expensive than bottled water. Right now, they are giving my viewers 10% off any system by using the discount code Larry. You'll receive fast, free delivery on the best drinking water for you and your family. Order today at centuryh2o.com. I'll post a link in the comments below and use the discount code Larry for 10% off. Finally, a man's best friend. Who says there are no longer good Samaritans willing to help an old lady in distress?
Now let's go down here and turn around.
Your grandmother doesn't know where in the hell she's going either.
No, with your damn big mouth, damn it. Shut your mouth, will you?
Yeah.
Oh.
An excuse.
No, I don't know where the hell we're going, Artie. Go up there.
I'm just gonna, can I make a U-turn? Can I make a U-turn?
Right here. No. Go straight up this way for you get on that other road up on top.
So do I go right?
Go
just
up here.
Go up the hill, Sheila Lynn.
And then left up
and
here.
And then you turn to your right, way up there.
Left.
And you'll be on your way to Adams.
Did you hear her say left,
then
Sheila? You know where left's at. You come to a dead end.
Okay. Okay, everybody. Which way? Left?
Left, Sheila.
Oh.
You go right like she told you. You come to a dead end.
Oh.
Honest to God.
Where in the hell are we going?
Bull.
Tell me, Jenny, where are we going?
Will you
Oh
shut
my
up?
God.
No, we go that
Where
way.
in the hell is she going, Sheila?
I'm not sure, but we're going.
Are we going to go to the
We
hot
go
dog
down this
place?
way.
Let's hear it for Proposition 36. Attention, undocumented shoppers. Hope you enjoyed We've Got a Country to Save, brought to you by my friends at invest@yrefy.com. Invest in America like I do. And by Freedom Chat. Freedom Chat has true end-to-end encryption, no storage of messages on the server, and no commercial use of user data. That way you can speak freely and message privately. Download the app today and subscribe to my Freedom Chat channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. We also thank Epoch Times, Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, Century H2O, Blue Line Moving, and El Cholo. Be sure to follow or subscribe to my channel on whatever platform you're using, whether X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, and be sure to patronize our sponsors. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. And remember, we've got a country to save.
You go dancing, you do the white man's overbite,